We're not live yet, though. I don't think we're live. Ooh, we're live. Hey, good morning. It's 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. Hope you're doing well. It is a Sunday at 6:26 a.m. Yeah, it's not 5 in the morning, but somebody tried to wake me up at 5 in the morning, didn't they? And told me, Dad, get up. You're supposed to do your 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. Get up, Dad, get up. So I think even if I started a bad trend, a good trend. I don't know which one trend it is, but apparently I have to get up and do the show, whether it's weekend or not. And it's a good thing. Anyway, so welcome to 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. This is episode 125. I'm Greg Mester, Agile Coach and Scrum Master, and we're here to talk about Agile and Scrum in a practical and tactical way, and also help you get home to your family and friends and not work so hard and stress out, but at the same time make money for your company and yourself. And it's funny, we talk about our mission. I posted up a couple articles that are popping up on LinkedIn about doing more stuff on your own, citizenship, and having spare time to do stuff. Well, that's part of what we're talking about here, right? Getting your stuff done in a way that you can get home to your family and friends and do stuff that you have fun and enjoy to do. So it balances out a complete, well-rounded life.
Can do football.
And we can do football, so you can watch football. So there's two things we're going to talk about today. I want to talk about daily Scrum a little bit, just rehash something that I mentioned a couple shows ago, and then sizing, relative sizing. So we got different size footballs, right? We're going to talk about relative sizing here in a second. So just talking about daily Scrum, and I used it the other day in the agenda, and I changed the word, and I mentioned this before, from like, what did you do last? What do you do next? To what is your next commitment? Okay, good. Let me finish. What is your commitment for the day, right? And I've heard the things saying, what's your sprint commitment? I'm like, yeah, you think it's 7 days or 2 weeks out in advance. I don't know what's going to affect my sprint commitment. But you know what? I can be more or less stressful if I just talk about what I'm committing to do for the day. And we're all about de-stressing the activities and what we do. So my recommendation is change the words from like what it could affect the sprint goals to what are we doing committing for the day. And that's just a quick little thing that just, again, de-stresses it. I can commit to saying I'm going to work on this story today and be done at the end of the day, or get these 5 tasks done, or these 2 tasks done, or whatever I got to do. And then if I'm blocked from meeting that commitment, I can voice it out at the daily Scrum the next day, or via Slack, or Mattermost, or Teams, like we talked about the other day with persistent Skype or persistent chat. So that is the one thing I like to talk about in daily Scrum, and just recommend that you try the more pointed, short-term focused. If you're a project manager, you should know what I'm talking about, right? If you're a project manager, it's about the time box. It's hard to predict longer periods than it is what's right in front of you. So unless you're my daughter and say, I can't predict the future. What are you going to do with that one? She can't predict 15 minutes ahead. So if you can't do that, you're like my daughter. She's cute. So that's what I want to talk about there. Now I want to talk about relative sizing. So we have 2 footballs, right? They always compare fruits and melons and watermelons and stuff like that. So we're going to do sports equipment, right, Ed? So we're going to compare relative sizing. Now, you could say, hey, these 2 are different sizes, so this one's a bigger story and this one's a smaller story. No, it doesn't matter. Maybe they're relative. They got the same material, and maybe it really isn't that much difference. Maybe this is a 3-point story in average size football, and this is a 2-point story.
Oh, I think it's a 1.
From the size, from a 1.
Yeah.
But what about these balls? They're about the same size, but this one's made out of hard rubber and this one's soft foam. They're different. Is this one a little more harder than this one? Maybe this one, right? But they're the same size, right? So it's not about hours, right? It's about how you use it. Now, what if I compared this ball and this ball, the little moon ball, right? They're about the same size, but they're all different. They do different things. The complexity of making this moon ball is higher, even though that, or you can say it this way. Hey, maybe this maybe this football and this moon ball. This one's more complex because of all the holes, and then you can do different things with it than the football. So maybe this is a higher point story. And this is why you can't compare pointing with teams, right? Because everybody points differently and how they do it. Now, I got things here. Toss it. Toss one. Oh, two. Oh, lost one. Okay. I got a baseball and a soccer ball, right? Now, soccer ball. Be careful, Ed, please. You would think this is a bigger story than this story, right? But let me change the notion here. Maybe I'm not just talking about the size of the ball.
I want to say it.
Say what?
This is harder. This is not harder.
That's true. This is harder. This is not hard. But let's look at the game. Soccer ball has what? How many people? 6, 9 people?
Almost 9 people.
Like 9 people. So it's baseball.
10 and 9.
But I think hitting a baseball and everything is a little more complicated than kicking a ball. So
it will hurt.
It would hurt more if you kick the ball. If you kick that one, it'll hurt more. Okay.
Even when your sock is on.
Okay, so maybe it's smaller, but it has more pieces that they have to coordinate together. Soccer's pretty tough on the coordination too. You got to figure out what you're playing, kicking the ball to each other. But hitting a ball with a little baseball bat, the odds of doing that are very rare. Kicking a ball maybe not be so rare, but how you play defense and the complexity of the game and not necessarily the ball, maybe that's how you do your relative sizing. So this is why some teams might say, hey, they're both about the same size, so we're going to go with that way of doing it versus like the complexity where how this is all different and you could do different things and you had extra stuff in there. So that's one way to do complexity. Now, are you giving me more? I got a hockey ball for street ball, and we got a tennis ball. Again, about the same size. Maybe it's about how you use it, how you make it. Pretty close to being the same. Definitely different manufacturing processes though, right? Now here's an idea. It's something even different. Let's say you're watch the table, boo boo. If your company says, "Oh, we're going to make frisbee nows," and you were making little rubber balls. Okay, what do you do now? I don't know.
I know.
But now, so you write code to build a frisbee one time, and make code to build a rubber ball the other way. And guess what your customer does? Eddie, are you going to demonstrate?
Yeah.
So Eddie's going to demonstrate. You got to kind of show it up there. So now he's combining the two pieces of code because they're independent, but now he's found a new games to play with the two pieces of code. So think of that. Now the story is, how do I interface the two pieces of code together and build a new product line, right? And probably wouldn't never thought of that. I didn't think about putting the two together, but apparently he has the idea of taking the ball and the frisbee, who are two different code sets and two different sizes, and then combining them together. So this kind of goes to writing your code that can be reused and repackaged in different ways so you can make a new product line. Anyway, I don't know if that helped anything with the relative sizing, but it does say, every team, how they do it.
Definitely.
This is like a 2-person game. This is definitely a 9-person game. None of them people play baseball. So is this more complicated to this? Are you doing your relative sizing based on the number of people who play the sport at one time? Could be a way of doing it, but every group does it differently. This also comes in place and impacts with if you want to scale or grow or measure between a corporation. I know a lot of people like to compare velocities. It's just not easy to do and not good unless you put standards out there that says, okay, and don't use time. We already had a conversation about not using time. Maybe you say, hey, the standard's on the size, or maybe the standard's based on, maybe the size is the same, but this may be a little more complicated because there's 9 people involved and there's just 2 people involved here. So maybe that makes it more complex, if that helps you. And this, so they're the same size, but because 9 people play this game and 2 people, maybe 4 people play if you do mixed doubles, doubles plays this game. So this one may be more complicated because of another communication branches. Eddie, just be careful, dude. You're going to hit the screen. Thanks, Bill. So that's just something. So I'll bring those 2 items. A little bit all over the place. Oh, and Eddie forgot the basketball, right? So we had the basketball. We had the soccer ball. There's 5 people in basketball, more people in soccer, bigger field, more complexity, but the balls are about the same size, right? But even manufacturing, this was like a hard rubber where you bounce a million times on the ground. This one's you kick. Has different properties, right? This one needs a hard surface and you got to maintain the elasticity, so you know a harder piece of. This is where you kick and you kind of want a little bit softer, but you want it hard enough to fly in the air. So yeah, something to think about. So that's about relative sizing and why you can't compare between teams, right? Because one team will do it based on size and hours they work on, which you shouldn't do. But I know companies like to do that. And other teams will maybe you add complexity, like how many people are playing the game, how many steps in the process,
I know how many
complexity of what the outcome looks like, right? Versus something like this. So they're about the same size, but this is more complex. And this is hockey, but this one's more complex in how it's made. So maybe this gets a higher pointage, right? Or something you've never done before, like going and making frisbees and bowls and you know, this is unknown because maybe you never made a frisbee before, so you should up the point sizing on this. Maybe you've always made these and they made that, and now the customer wants you to combine the two. All right.
It looks like a ring.
Looks like a ring.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? It looks like a ring.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna say goodbye because it is Sunday. Keep it short, and hope you all have a good weekend. Have some fun with your family and friends. Do some of those side activities. Free up some stuff. Right. Bring into your work the next day what fun stuff you did over the weekend.
Be safe.
And be safe, right, Ed?
Don't get sick.
And don't be sick. Please give us a thumbs up, liking where you see us, and
ring the bell.
Ring the bell. All right. Thanks, Ed. And you all take care and happy scrumming. Goodbye.
Bye.
Have fun. See you tomorrow. See you Monday. Bye.